Getting prepped for you two on screen so much. I mean, this whole movie is just following you guys on this wonderful journey. Tell me a bit about y'all's connection before this film and how this kind of came about, because I think y'all on screen is dynamic.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that adjective. Do you want to talk about Sweet Rob and how he put us on a weird blind date?
Our cinematographer, who's also my husband, was working on a film in Virginia, and he was shooting this weird Christmas movie, and he kept saying, the actress in it, I just really think you're going to get along with her. I think you're going to like her. And I was like, no? And he's like, no, she's great. And then he was like, she's 25. And I was like, no. And then they wrapped the movie, and I had to edit this movie, and so I had to look at her face for 12 hours a day, and then we finally met and talk about a weird first date. She came over to the house, and then it was literally just like we fell into having known each other for 15 years already.
Yeah.
You know, it was just like, oh, hey, yeah, let's get our jammies on and just eat popcorn.
Like, I know you. Yeah. I know you. Like many trucker drinks later, I was like, I get
you. So that kind of started our friendship, and I have to keep. That's what started our friendship, and we also both connected on the mere fact that we have what we call invisible illnesses. She is type 1 diabetic, and I have complex regional pain syndrome. So we had kind of talked about it. You know, we share something that not everybody gets to know about. And so we connected in that little world, too. And then we also thought we should one day make a movie or a TV show with these kind of characters. So that was the backstory. Did I answer that?
You definitely did. And
Right.
I love that you teased a big part of the film is your disorders are in the film. They're part of it. I think one of my favorite scenes is when you get the pizza and that quick cut of all the things y'all have to go through. Can y'all talk about putting that front and center in the film and being that raw about your own lively struggles? I mean, that's special to see that on screen.
Well, I think we talked a lot about the fact that we hadn't seen characters like this on film, and how there isn't much education. I know about type 1 diabetes, and especially not about CRPS, and we constantly feel like how we're trying to tell people what it is or what it entails. And we didn't want to make a movie about having those diseases, but we wanted to just showcase what it's like on a day-to-day basis. Because I know with type 1 diabetes, we've got Julia Roberts and Steel Magnolias, and that's about it. And CRPS, we got nothing. So so that was why we wanted to kind of show the day-to-day, and also just the times when you're like, forget it, I don't want to deal with it today, which is what that sequence was kind of about.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we always think of it as, especially on the road trip, as we had an invisible passenger with us, and that's our illnesses, our diseases. It's always there. You can't see it. You don't know when it's going to come up and rear its ugly head. You don't know if it's going to be a good day or a bad day. Nothing. And so we wanted the audience to experience that too, because that's what it's like for us as people. It's like, we don't know this morning if your blood sugar is going to be super low and she's going to crash, or if I can't get out of bed because I'm in too much pain. So it's like every day's a new journey.
Speaking of road trip element, I'd love to know logistically how tough it was, because I know that's not the easiest thing to do for films, but also the choices, we get to see the salt when y'all are in that area with the salt flats, and then I love that y'all had the 666, which not many people know that story, and it's a weird story anyways. Yeah. So tell me about just the logistics of making a road film that's not easy.
Chris, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, I can start anyway. The whole thing really started as there was this idea, this germ of an idea for a film that you guys have been thinking about, but it really came about when both Rob and Mindy and then myself were planning vacations separate from each other at first, and then it was, hey, let's combine these vacations, and instead of vacationing, let's make a movie instead. And that happened in just a matter of weeks. So the 2 weeks from the moment the decision was made to make a movie to being on the road. So a script had to be written, and a path had to be charted. And we all just jumped on, I forget what app it was. We jumped on an app and like drew out maybe where we could go because we knew we were going to hit a couple of places. We knew we were going to hit South Dakota because Rob's family's from there. And we knew we wanted to go to Portland, and then it was just like, what's along the way? And story elements were written specifically for certain areas, like Vegas.
Yeah.
And then there were some things that were found along the way, and that was the beauty of the journey. And like Mindy and Rob and Jen kind of sitting in the car, like tapping out new pages as we were finding things on the map. It's like we'd see a sign for something, like, oh yeah, let's do that. That'd be really cool. How can we rework this sequence to take advantage of that space?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was a logistics insanity, but it was beautiful and it was dynamic, and that was what was really fun about making a movie. So.
Yeah. And what helped, I mean, we in our 2 weeks, which wasn't a lot of time for planning a movie, is dumb. It's dumb, but still, we tried to storyboard. Still, like we printed out pictures from movies and we put it all up around the apartment, and we had it storyboarded. So by the time we hit the road, like, we knew what we had to do on each day and still stay open to what could come our way. Because there were things that we wanted to do that didn't work out, and but we had better things happen to replace it. So, I mean...
Well, and the other bit, and you say this often, which is, the movie basically takes place, or we shot the movie in real time.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a 4,500-mile journey, 2 weeks. I had a ticket to fly back to Louisiana that we had to be back for, right? And we knew we needed to be in Portland for 4th of July, and there were certain hotels that were booked already.
I booked Vegas and I booked Portland.
Yeah. So it was like
beginning and the end, basically.
we had to hit dates, in some fashion. So there was some days where like, all right, we have to make, this many miles today to get to this place so we can get up and drive, because we're not just shooting, we're moving from place to place. So we'd be driving for 6 hours to get to a location, shooting a scene, and either staying there or jumping out and moving on to the next place. Like, it was nuts.
That begs the question of those lovely hotels you guys get to stay in. Please tell me there was more figuring out those places, because some of those hotels were insane. The ones with the handwritten thing on the towels, like, that's how could you?
That's actually we did that because that was actually based on I think the second time I ever went to Hollywood, we stayed in the Hollywood Inn or something like that, and we walked in and their towels were handwritten on it, and I've never laughed so hard ever. So we were like, at some point we have to put that hand towel in.
Genius.
Yeah.
I think it didn't make it in the movie, but a hotel that, do you remember, you know which one I'm talking about, where they had the like wizard van that was painted out in the parking lot, and like there was a fire alarm that kept going off, and like the phone, it looked like snuff films were filmed in it.
Yeah.
We like picked up the phone and like all the guts were taken out of the phone. We were like, oh, we're dying tonight, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
We definitely stayed in some places that we wouldn't stay in again. But I mean, that's how we kept it cheap. Is like, we shot there, we slept there, we showered, we got up and we moved. Like, there's very little that you're not seeing. Like, it's not like I mean, the other side of the camera was our camera and equipment and all of our luggage. Like, and we're all sweaty in the room together.
Another character I love that's the music in the film. And can y'all talk a bit about the song choices and all that?
2012?
Yeah.
2012, I think. Chris, myself, and Rob, we were all living in Shreveport, Louisiana. And Rob came home one day and was like, I have a new band. And it's called Superwater Sympathy. You have to listen to it. And we fell in love with this band. And they were locals to Shreveport. And we ended up meeting them and directing a music video for them. And then we just kind of stayed friends with them and obsessively followed their music. And they changed the name of their band, and they've kind of evolved. But we've always been like their number one fan. We called them before we left for a road trip and asked if we could use their music, and they said yeah, and they gave us access to their entire catalog. So we knew some of the songs, like there's a bit throughout, so there's
Tempted to know that song.
Watch these people go.
I never got that song down.
So hard.
Never got it down. What was the lyric I thought was in it that wasn't?
You're gonna have to watch the movie to understand what we're talking about, but
We do get to see you try and sing it. It's great. Yeah.
No, there was some, because she sent me she like had me watch, she like couldn't find the lyrics, and she had me watch like their music video on YouTube to like get the lyrics down before she could like find the lyrics and send them to me. And it was like the like, Hold Me Closer Tony Danza moment where I was like, this is what I think they're saying. And she goes, those are not it at all. She goes, I don't have the lyrics for you, but I was like, that's not it. For sure.
oh yeah, I forgot what that was.
I forgot what it was too, but it was definitely a Tony Danza moment.
Because actually, I think it started out, we originally wanted us to know the song inside and out, and we just sing it all the time. But literally, we could never get it down, so we changed the bit to the fact that we could never get it.
And then you couldn't get it down either.
I know. I know.
It's a very fast-paced, like
Yeah.
that
So
song.
many words, so many words.
It's a highly compressed lyrics, and I don't understand why you picked it, but it worked out. I mean, it's one of those things in the movie where it's like you turn like.
decide to make a movie in 2 weeks? We're masochistic.
I know.
That's the real question.
That's life, though.
So I'd love to know, being able to bring it here to the South, bring it Women in Texas Film Festival, Shreveport connections, obviously Arlington, Texas, obviously. What's it mean to be here in the South and show a film that doesn't necessarily show the South, but has such Southern roots behind it? That's got to be kind of fun.
That's a big question.
Yes.
I mean, Mindy, like you have roots in Texas as
Yeah.
well, so it's like Mindy and I have the Texas connection, and then Shreveport's our cousin. So
Shreveport is what they call it, East Texas.
yeah,
So
basically.
You're right there. Yeah.
right there.
But no, I mean, it's really cool to have developed sort of like, I know I started acting here in like local theaters when I was like 6, and I'm sure you were developing your creative choices and like creative taste here as well before you like moved on other places. So to be developing those creative perspectives here and then to come back as they've matured and evolved over time is just really cool. And then to also be able to celebrate women here. Because I always associate the South with such strong women of character. And so to celebrate that here, I think there's something really special about that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I had the first year that this festival came about, so year 1 of this festival, I said that well. I had a short film here, and it was called Hard Broads, and Women Texas Festival was one of the first festivals to accept it, and so I have a little special place in my heart, so I wanted to make sure we brought the feature here too. And the fact that she's from Arlington. I grew up in East Texas, Shreveport. Like, we know so many people in the area, so we're so excited to share it with some friends and family that are coming today.
Yeah, 4 o'clock-ish is in all of.
Yes.
Are y'all anticipating a big reunion of folks? Is it going to be that type of
Oh, yeah.
family environment?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got friends, family, all sorts of Texas folks coming out.
Yeah, I'm seeing some friends I haven't seen since college that are going to come out, and, that's been so many years, and that's exciting. Yeah.
I'd love to know, are y'all still writing characters, not necessarily these characters, but future characters now that you guys have worked together? I mean, has this sparked a continuation? Can we see this more? Y'all working together?
I think so. I mean, I know, like, we've been focused on getting this movie seen and getting this in front of people because it's something that we're really excited about and we're really proud of. So that's been our focus right now. But, I mean, I would absolutely work with these guys in a heartbeat again because, like, this was the kind of movie, like, you make and you go, this is why I do what I do. Like, it was exhausting, it was tiring. We woke up some mornings and we're like, what are we doing? This is insane. But still, it was one of those things that it's like we were running on no sleep or running on fumes, but we didn't need, like, it was like the creativity was fuel enough.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
I couldn't have said it better. I mean, really, and that was the like forge that, or the, what is the, it's the forge of our friendship, and we trial by fire on the whole thing, and even through post-production there have been pressures, and we all work, and so there's trying to get this done kind of in the spaces that we have available.
Yeah.
It's been tough, but at the end of the day I'm really happy with the way things turned out, and I'm excited about what people are saying about the film and what it's bringing to the dialogue about hidden illness. So.
And I mean, I don't know. I'm going to grow old with these people, whether or not we work together again. It's like, these are my front porch people.
We're your basement buddies.
Yeah, you're our basement buddies. So I don't think you can, like, stop being friends after 4,500 miles.
No.
You know, we didn't murder each other then. We're not, I think we're good. Yeah.
Please name the next film Basement Buddies.
Oh, that is an inside joke just for us.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you for bringing the film here. Welcome home. I hope today is a really special day. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.